Hey team, what's going on? Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, Merry all that good stuff. Hope you had an amazing time over the holidays. Well, the holidays are, I guess, not quite over yet as I'm recording this. Anyways, hope you like the new shades. These are some Swannies that Amy got me for Christmas. We don't really exchange gifts anymore, but she kind of surprised me and got these daytime Swannies, which are really good if you spend a lot of time in front of the computer. They're not as, well, they're blue blockers. Essentially, they block the blue light, but they're not as intense as the nighttime ones. Anyways, I'm not too sure what happened with my focus there. There we go. Perfect. So I'm not here to talk about glasses in this video. And what I do want to talk with you about in today's episode, whether you're listening to this on the podcast or inside the Facebook group or anywhere else, is how to make more money by giving some of it to me. And I know that sounds really, I don't know if controversial is the right word, but it sounds like, dude, what are you talking about, man? Get off your high horse. You might be thinking that. That's totally cool, but I want to just hear me out for a second. So I don't know if you've ever recognized this, but there are moments in your life where you go above and beyond and find a way no matter what to make things happen, right? So for instance, if you have a mortgage payment coming out and you're, let's say, tight for cash, you find a way to make it happen, right? You find a way to make the mortgage payment, because if you don't, you know what's going to happen. You're going to lose your house. You're going to have bad credit, all that good stuff. Not that it's good stuff. And so one of the things that I've realized over the years is, this is very true for me, I'm sure it's very true for many people listening to this, is whenever there is a necessity, that's when we are really called to a higher level of action. So like you have a mortgage payment that's due and let's say funds are tight, you still find a way to make it happen. You still find a way to make it work. But very oftentimes we end up doing the bare minimum. We end up doing the bare minimum in business because for whatever reason, we set standards for ourselves and we get comfortable at certain income levels. So for instance, if you know you've got a huge Amex or Visa or credit card bill to pay off, we think of, I just need to make enough money to pay that off. And then what ends up happening is we get into this cycle of just getting by all the time. We just make enough to cover the bills. And that might be like conditioning from way back in the day that still is that program is still playing. And that's happened in my life. And I think it's happened in a lot of people's lives as well. And so one of the things that I've recently come to the discovery around is, well, we need to trick ourselves and find ways to, instead of saying, hey, I've got $100,000, credit card bill this month, and that's how much I need to make. Well, we need to trick ourselves to think about, that actually is $500,000, right? And believe it to the point where you do whatever you necessarily have to do to make $500,000. And in doing so, the $100,000 that you owe to the credit cards is paid off no problem, and you have $400,000 in surplus, right? So part of life is really just tricking your brain. It's tricking your brain to do what you need to do above and beyond the bare minimum. Okay, so I want to challenge you in this video to think of ways that are going to stretch you to reach higher instead of just the bare minimum. And so one of those ways that I found to be really, really powerful is to hire a coach. So for instance, if you were to hire me to work with you to help you get clients, make more money, and grow your business, you are now going to have a little bit of a deficit that you have to pay every month, right? So every month you have to pay this sum of money to obviously be part of the program and to have us help you and so forth. And just by doing so, you will find a way to make that happen. And I don't know, I mean, if this is something you can relate to, just let me know in the comments, I totally resonate with that. Because a lot of times when we don't have necessary expenses, we don't end up doing what's required to make the money to pay for those. Now, I'm not saying rack up the expenses and increase the liabilities or the things that you're paying money to every single month, because that puts you in a position of perhaps stress and overwhelm and whatever. But I do think there's a lot of positivity to creating gaps, to creating deficits that you have to fill. Now, it would probably be better served if you were using those in the form of investments in yourself and in your business, because, there you go. Like one of the examples is, we have a life insurance policy, and the more money I put into that on a monthly basis, the more money I put into that on a monthly basis, if that makes sense. So for instance, I could say every month automatically deduct $500 from my bank account into the life insurance policy. And guess what's going to happen? $500 will find its way from my bank account into the life insurance policy. But what if I said every single month, we're going to put $20,000 into the life insurance policy, and it's automatically going to be debited from our account? What do you think is going to happen? Do you think I'm going to have NSFs happening every month? No. Like, we will find a way to make the $20,000 appear in the bank account so they're automatically withdrawn into the life insurance policy. And so what I'm trying to get at here is that when you create a vacuum, you find a way to fill that vacuum, right? Nature abhors a vacuum. That's kind of the saying that's typically been thrown around. So by creating a $20,000 commitment to putting this money into, let's say, the life insurance policy, or it doesn't have to be, whatever the number is for you, right? Like whatever is most pertinent to you. But by creating that vacuum, you will find a way to bring the money in to make sure you make that commitment. So by saying how to make more money by giving some of it to me, I'm essentially saying, hey, listen, if you want to work with me, that's awesome. It'll be the best decision of your life. I promise you that. But it's beyond the point. The point is stretch yourself. Put yourself into commitments that create a gap. Because when you create that gap, you raise your level of action. You raise your level of necessity to now do bigger things to meet those objectives and meet those goals. Does that make sense? I hope it does. Anyways, just a really short episode today. I'm not going to belabor this point too long. But listen, here's the deal. Right now is, as I'm recording this, the end of 2019. Crazy, right? Crazy how time flies. Yeah, and it's been an amazing year for us. Hopefully it's been an amazing year for you. And, we're here to serve you whenever you're ready to get more clients and really make a lot more money in your business and really have a business, not just a job, right? A business that has a predictable sales and marketing machine to bring in clients in a more automated fashion. Your best clients who've never even heard of you previously. You don't need a website. You don't need tech know-how. You don't need a huge following, right? You just have to be an expert at what you do. And if you have an existing business where you're already working with clients, that's obviously important. And if you fit that bill and you want to make 2020 your best year yet, and you want to start bringing in a flood of clients, then we can probably help you. And the best way we start by doing that is having a call we call a Result Accelerator call. It's essentially a free business audit where we'll look into your business, we'll look at what's going on, what isn't working, where you're bleeding money, because quite honestly, most businesses are without even recognizing it. And then we'll put together a game plan to help you fix that. And if you're interested in having us help you deploy that game plan, so you actually get faster results and more predictable results, then we can talk about what that might look like. Anyways, go to workwithyuri.com. If that's of interest to you, we only have a certain number of spots, obviously, because it's a very, very busy time of year and they are filling up real quick. So grab your spot today. Let's get on the phone, have a chat with one of our result coaches, and they will walk you through all of this amazing stuff. And there you go. So think about creating deficits to fill those gaps, to raise your level of necessity. And by doing that, you will make a lot more money in your business. See you guys.